for a CFL game. We're talking Stamps Riders, red versus green, Dickinson versus Dickinson, and another interesting game, Glenn, in terms of dictating the early pecking order in the West Division. Now, Saskatchewan is coming off a loss, but there was a big positive in the play of Trevor Harris when there were some health concerns last week against Winnipeg.
Yeah, Rod, what these two quarterbacks have in common is that they're coming off pretty good games offensively. For Trevor Harris, the 8th time in his career he threw for over 400 yards. He didn't get the win against the Bombers, but played great on offense. Jake Mayer for the Calgary Stampeders did get the offense going and did get the win against Ottawa, a career high for Jake Mayer.
Dave Dickinson up against his brother again, and Dave has got the better regular season record, although in their one playoff meeting a couple of years ago, it was Craig victorious in that one. First meeting of the season between the Calgary Stampeders and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Calgary won the toss. There's William Longley, one of the returners, along with Peyton Logan to get this one underway. Calgary won. They want the ball. It's Brett Locke to get it underway. Gorgeous Saturday in 7 Alberta. Taken, coming in quickly, Logan. And a good place for the Stamps offense to start as he gets it up across the 40. Jake Mayer struggled a bit in week 1 against BC. Better performance last week in Ottawa.
Yeah, much better. In fact, a career high for him, throwing the football with over 300 yards passing. He is also 2-0 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in his career. And keep in mind, this is start number 15 for Jake Mayer. He is still finding his way, although it feels like he's been around a lot longer because of his maturity and how he handles himself. He
is very quickly assuming a leadership role in this team in just his 3rd year. Standing back with Dedrick Mills, now the starting running back who has the ball, and a good carry on first down for Mills, who had just over 100 yards last week in Ottawa, filling in for Kadeem Carey, a gain of 11.
Yeah, that 100-yard game vaulted him into 4th place in the list for the leading rushers after a couple weeks in the CFL. And yeah, he's again another guy who likes to play against Saskatchewan. A couple 100-yard games coming into this one against the Riders, and coming off a 100-yard game against Ottawa.
There's an injured rider down. It's Nelson Lacombo, still getting treated, sitting on the field. Tommy Stevens was in that huddle and is heading off now. Jake Mayer is still out there. Stevens, the backup quarterback.
This is an interesting one for Saskatchewan to juggle here, because Jaden Dalkey is not dressed. He's on the 6-game injured last week. And so Nelson Lacombo was getting the start at free safety. Here's the injury. And that very well could mean that Jackson Ford, who has made the roster out of training camp and is the grandson of Al Ford out of the University of Regina, may just be playing free safety in first series for Calgary.
Be thrown right in at Jackson Ford, drafted in the 2nd round, 11th overall this year by his Saskatchewan Roughriders. Yeah, Grandpa was a member of the '66 Grey Cup champion team as a player, and later, as you mentioned, general manager in the team that you played on in '89.
Now they can't play American back there with the new rules, so we'll see. Jackson Ford is new and young, so he's going to get coached up. They have C.J. Rivas in there right now. And remember, Derek Moncrief is on the roster. We'll get to the starting lineups in a second, but a little bit of juggling already for the Riders.
As Nelson Lacombo heads off on his own steam, and a good sign. But it's a first down carry for Dedrick Mills right out of the gate. And a 1st and 10, Stampeders up near midfield. Back to the ground. Mills, full spin, running well. 2 carries into this game as he gets it down to the 46 of the Riders.
Wow, he looks good in the first couple of carries. Dedrick Mills, and up front they're going to make one change at guard. Bryce Bell will be the 6th offensive lineman. Zach Williams will start at that left guard position. Dedrick Mills mentioned the 100-yard game against Ottawa in his first start, and because Reggie Bagleton is out of the lineup, we're going to see a little bit more of Cole Tucker in the starting group here tonight.
Some new young receivers in the lineup for Calgary in this one. Faking the sweep. Tommy Stevens was in on the 1st and 10. There was another first down carry before by Mills. And Stevens with another good pickup on the ground for Calgary's offense. A 2nd and short is coming up.
Charbel DeBeer is going to start on the interior of that Saskatchewan front four. A little bit bigger with Lanier outside, and the reason for that, Micah Johnson will see some time in there, of course, as well. There's Derek Moncrief. He takes over for C.J. Rivas. Now they've had to juggle a little bit. It looks like Rivas is in for Lacombo early on here at free safety.
Trey Adams-Dukes, one of 3 receivers, out to the top of the screen, and there's the look to the right, and that's for Luther Hakunavanu, and it is a bit too far, incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like that sailed in the wind. I mean, Jake Mayer put a lot on it. He did have Hakunavanu in behind coverage, and some of these young receivers now are going to have to step up with Reggie Bagel. Excuse me, he's the 3rd guy right here in the back and of that bunch formation. He's going to run this corner route. And you can see he's got some separation. It looked like the ball just took off with the wind.
Rene Paredes, the veteran kicker's 4 for 6, longest to 39 this season. This one from 47. Just a few plays into this game, Calgary gets close enough to put some points on the board. Paredes celebrates the field goal very quickly, 3-0 Stamps, and now sharp in that home opening loss to the Blue Bombers. Threw for over 400 yards. He also threw 3 touchdown passes to Samuel Abrams. That combination looked great. Harris did too. First possession, Saskatchewan, trailing by 3. And they put it on the ground, wanting to run more after Jamal Morrow only had 20 yards rushing last week against Winnipeg.
Yeah. Take a look at Harris's numbers, and yeah, over 400 yards passing in that game, and he had not taken a lot of reps, first team reps, as you mentioned, from that injury, little hip and back, lower back. Said he's felt as good as he's ever has felt since leaving training camp going into this week.
2nd and 8, Morrow remains at his side. Harris, they've got him. Down he goes, right at the Rider 40. At Stampeder front, Derek Wigan.
Did he get one? Because the D-line hasn't got one.
No sacks yet in week 3. Derek Wigan, the veteran out of Queen's University, coming in, getting to Trevor Harris.
Yeah, the 4 guys up front. Mike Alway, they have 2 sacks as a defense. Mike Alway had one of them. And from the linebacking core.
Titus Wallen at the other, and he's one of the...
Wall's out, yeah, Wall is out, but D-line did not have one coming in. 2 now.
Adam Korsak to punt it away for the Riders, who go 2 and out. And coming in after a punt of 35, it'll be a 15-yard penalty tacked on for no yards for Jake Mayer. They moved it well down into field goal range. Possession 2 coming up for the Stamps.
Yards.
The Canadians in this game today. Cole Tucker, Clark Barnes, who has a few catches this season, and Ryson John making his debut, Glenn, out of Simon Fraser.
Yeah, Simon Fraser University, and guy who got invited to the Hula Bowl and had a lot of NFL interest, and they looked at him as a tight end because he is a unique athlete, 6'7", 246 pounds, and can run. I'd like to see him in this game tonight.
Big receiver. It's Mills again. 3rd carry and a couple of carries of 11 yards. And that first drive, he gets 6 there and just across midfield.
Yeah, we will see more of Cole Tucker. Reggie Bagleton, who before his injury was 2nd in the CFL in just the first couple of weeks in receiving, had a big game against Ottawa. They did get Malik Henry going. We haven't seen him just yet tonight, but really need Malik Henry to step up in the absence of Reggie Bagleton.
So 3 rookies, and then you got Henry in his 3rd year, Adams-Dukes in his 2nd, Hakunavanu in his 3rd. It's a young core. This one in a 2nd and 5. Mayer over the middle, coming across, but he can't hang on. That's Malik Henry. Nick Marshall back in the lineup for Saskatchewan after missing last week, picking up the ball, but Larry Dean making the play for the Riders.
Yeah, we'll just take a look at those young receivers trying to go to work here. This is Malik coming across. He doesn't make the catch just in his 3rd year. Keep in mind that's in slow motion. They ruled that he didn't have control, so no fumble. But you know, the downside is they're not experienced, and you're going to see some mistakes. The upside is they don't know any better, and they're young guys trying to make a name for themselves, so they're hungry. So we'll see which one steps up tonight.
Dave Dickinson had talked about it, saying difficult losing players to injury, but an exciting opportunity for some young players Calgary has. It's very Alford coming in to knock him down right after the catch. Darius Williams on the special teams coverage for the Stamps.
Well, one and one Saskatchewan Roughriders coming into this one, and they're starting 2 new tackles. One with a tremendous resume, Gerald Hawkins, who out of LSU, tons of NFL. He was drafted by the Steelers in the 4th round back in 2016. Had some injury issues, played on different NFL teams, and he's a big man. He's up there at left tackle out of LSU. And Colin Kelly, who we know, I mean, he's been around and over 90 games. So they're starting a couple guys first start of the season at tackle.
And this Rider offense starts deep. Jamal Morrow takes it outside. Good carry from Morrow. He gets it up across the 15 as we take a look at that Rider offense.
Yeah, and when you look up front, so the new tackles up there, they're placing Brandon Council and Eric Lofton, who started the first 2 games of the season. So there's Kelly and Hawkins. We'll watch them. I'm wondering about their wind and this 20-second huddle and getting back into that flow. And again, Sean Bain, former Calgary Stampeder, with a 100-yard game last week. Over 100, well over 100.
The most receiving yardage in that game for the Riders. Emilus had the 3 touchdowns. On the ground in a second and short. Ball comes out. And it looked like Calgary may have had the recovery. See what they sort out here. It is indeed a Stampeder football. On the fumble. And it looked like they'd had enough for the first down. It came out late. That Vaughters that punches it out.
Boy, that's very close, isn't it? Like that. Take a look at that left knee. Take a look at the left knee, and when it touches, he's got control right now, and the knee touches.
And the knee is touching.
Knee's touching. I'm not sure. That every turnover is automatically reviewed by the command center, so they'll take a look at it as well.
You're thinking what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I looked like his knee touched just prior to the ball coming out.
So they're taking a quick look on this turnover.
And then the second person came in.
Saskatchewan might be hanging on to this.
What's up, y'all? Love you, Megan.
After immediate review by the command center, the Saskatchewan runner was down by contact at the 20-yard line. It'll be first down.
From the referee, Tom Balesi. So no fumble, Jamal Morrow. Riders keep the football, and they do get the first.
It was a close one. But that's what review is for. Get the call right.
That's when the system is working well.
Exactly, and they did it very quickly there.
Nice and quick, up at the 20 now. Second possession Riders in a 3-0 game early on here as week 3 continues in this young CFL regular season. Trevor Harris had some big numbers last week and then lost to Winnipeg, handing off again. True to their word, they said they wanted to involve more, and he is involved. Is he ever involved? Another good carry for him in a first down.
I think we're going to enjoy watching Jamal Morrow and Dedrick Mills, the 2 tailbacks in this game for both teams. And watch this second effort. I'll just let the pitchers do the talking here. That is sweet.
He was having a great season for the Riders last year. 12 games in until he was injured. Knocked out for the season. So the toss inside. Sean Bain, ex-Stampeder. Saskatchewan is running the ball very well.
Let's take a look at the Calgary defense. I was mentioning that front 4 had not registered a sack in 2 weeks. Well, they got one now. Derek Wigan got one that first series, so we could have highlighted him had we predicted that happening. Alway leads all tacklers in the Canadian Football League after a couple of weeks with 17. Griffin moves to that linebacker, Sam linebacker spot, and Brandon Dozier is going to start at safety. was a Titus Walls injury, as you mentioned.
Another first down on the ground. Saskatchewan on the move. Up to their 44. Little play fake this time. And a throw, and it's incomplete. Closest in the area, Tevin Jones, who had a big week last week against Winnipeg.
Yeah, this was just not on the same page. It looked like Tevin Jones needed to curl in that soft spot, and that's exactly what Trevor Harris thought he was going to do. He's going to come in here, and this is what Harris thought he was going to do, and watch what he did. He comes down in here, and he sees that soft spot. Harris thought he would drop back into that hole, and he ran right through.
Tevin Jones had 9 catches for 121 yards last week against Winnipeg, including a big one that set up their first touchdown, 2nd and 10. Harris steps up, loses the ball as he's hit.
Loose.
And
Still loose.
Fumbled back, and now into the hands of the Riders. Jake Winnipeg.
Wow.
The net result is excellent for the green and white, but what an adventure as we follow the bouncing ball here. Yeah, what just happened?
What happened? What is going on? Because Calgary had 2 or 3 shots at this fumble. Clearly a fumble right here. Like, the ball's out, no question about that. Now it's loose, it's live. Look at the Calgary trying to scoop it up rather than dive on it, but Winnipeg comes in, hustles back, and saves the day. Not only that, he recovers it past the markers, so they got 10 yards out of it.
They don't draw it up that way, but it's a 12-yard gain. Take it any way you can, I guess. Across midfield and a first down. And it's Morrow running again. And running well inside the 35, down close to the 32. And much of this drive has been on the ground, whether intentional or otherwise, a pickup of 22 yards.
That looked like it had to be a good down block here to get Morrow out and around the edge. And let's see, because he has nobody outside. Let's see the down block. That's the right tackle. He's going to go down, wash down inside. Didn't have to get any of Mike Rose. He just made him go around him.
Last week, Jamal Morrow had 20 yards the entire game. He has 50 yards rushing.
Clearly Kelly Jeffrey committed to the run here.
They said they wanted to do it more, and they have been. But there's a pass and a big one, too. For a first down, Saskatchewan on the move. And now inside the 15, it's Emelis, who had the game of his life last week against Winnipeg with his first 3 CFL touchdowns.
And take a look at this tight end formation, but you know those runs early for Jamal Morrow has pulled the linebackers for Calgary closer to the line of scrimmage. That's why that quick hot over the middle to Emelis and that from that tight end spot was so successful.
Running the ball, helping set it up. A 1st and 10 at the Stamps 15, 9th play of the drive. Back to the ground. And Morrow again, and north-south, driving it forward. TJ Raham riding him down, but a 5-yard gain, 5 more on the ground, Saskatchewan.
Kelly Jeffrey calling a good game as he said he would this week, that he wants to get that run established, settle in the 2 tackles that are playing their first game of the season, let them fire off the football with that whole offensive line and then play action out of it.
Very different looking Rider offense than what we saw a week ago. And Harris to throw to the end zone, and very close to the sideline, and Sean Bain does not hang on. So a 3rd down is coming up, and the field goal unit will come on to see if they can tie this game.
Sean Bain runs a nice route here. He's there, and so is the ball. And Trevor Harris has to lead him out front. He reaches for it, both hands on it, and just flat drops it.
Could have had a touchdown there. Bain that close, can't hang on. So Lawther is in for the field goal try, and a short one. About 18 yards. Corsack putting it down. Impressive drive, Saskatchewan. A flag is out.
See what this flag is.
Could be big.
Because they're right around, it was about 3rd and 6. Depending on who it's against Calgary. This drive, by the way, started on Saskatchewan's own 7-yard line. So
After review by the video official, there's no flag on the play.
So they pick up the flag, and the field goal stands, and we've got a tie game, as mentioned. On a good meeting Hamilton last week.
Hello, Winton McManus.
Yeah,
Look at the camera there.
Don't mess with Winton, former Stampeder.
Gives you a shiver for a second.
So the Elks and the Argos tomorrow. Short kick, and it is bobbled by Longley. And who touched it last? The Riders did. Longley coming in for it. Lawther choosing to kick it his way.
Well, it's a pooch kick, Rod. It's one of those ones. It's not to the deep guy. It's in that spot where the deep guy can't get to it. That third level or the middle level of the kick return team. And this time it's Longley trying to get there. Now you just have to tap it out of bounds. You have to be the last to touch it. Henderson gets it, tips it out before he goes out of bounds. That's Saskatchewan football.
Wow, brilliant special teams work by Amari Henderson, who is the field half as well. And the defense can stay on the sideline. Saskatchewan football.
Matchups since back at camp, so I didn't mean for him to be my primary target last week. It just so happened he was the guy who was getting past the defense. But MLS gave the love right back and said, hey, well, Trevor Harris is the best quarterback I've ever played for, so he makes it easy to catch those balls. So a little bit of brotherly love and chemistry already going on just 3 weeks into the season, guys.
Yeah, Britt Harris was very effusive in his praise. Didn't know a lot about him. Kind of flying under the radar when he came over from Montreal. And he knew in training camp, as Britt was talking about, this guy's good. He's not bashful at all about getting them the ball.
After automatic review by the command center, it was to determine that the Saskatchewan player who touched the ball landed out of bounds. So it'll be Calgary ball.
Oh.
Amari Henderson.
Well, let's go back to
knocked
this.
It out.
Yeah, let's go back because Amari Henderson, he tipped it out before he was out, so he's not out of bounds when he touches it. And then
he's down inbounds.
He's down inbounds. I'm
confused here. But saying that he was out of bounds, I guess Longley bobbles it. Henderson. Oh, the hand touches out of bounds before his knee.
Okay, let's go back and take a look one more time at that, because I was looking at his knee after he touched it. Left hand tips it. Let's look at the left hand.
Left hand. Oh, that's close. That is so close.
That's true.
So if the hand touches down before the knee, then he is out of bounds. And then they've moved the ball now to the Calgary 40. And Craig Dickinson getting an explanation and seems to be reluctantly accepting it now as Calgary will start. Edric Mills taken down there after a gain of 4 by Larry Dean.
Well, that's a huge break for the Calgary Stampeders in plus territory, that the command center noticed that Anderson was out of bounds. Therefore, it was the person who touched it prior to that, which would have been the returner Longley.
So a 2nd and 6 now. Stampeders at their 44. 4-man rush with time and a crossing route to one of the rookie receivers we talked about. That is Clark Barnes for a gain of 4. And that is his 7th catch of his young career. But it's not enough for a first down. So with a 3rd and 2 coming up, Cody Grace will come on to punt this one away. Back inside his 15 for this one. By last year's top punter in net yardage. Cody Grace, booming punt of 57 yards. Alford starts the return from his 5 and gets it up about to the 15. Trevor Harris coming back on. Britt just talked about Samuel Emilus in that 3-touchdown performance last week. Here's what Trevor Harris had to say about it.
I think on Sam's second touchdown, I went through 1, 2, 3, 4. They covered it up really well and just escaped the pocket. He did scramble routes perfectly and made a diving catch. And so, you know, he's making plays, and you know, we're going to need him to make a lot of plays this year. And I think he's going to, yeah, obviously, you know, broke out last week, but I think he's going to continue to have those performances.
Pretty special. I mean, 3 touchdowns. You scored 3 touchdowns in Saskatchewan. Everyone wants to talk to you.
Whether he wants to talk about it or not, they're going to be definitely, if he keeps that up. Passing off to the left now for Tevin Jones. And great out of bounds. He was hit by Trey Roberson there, so incomplete.
Yeah, so that tied a Rider record, 3 touchdowns in 1 game. And there's some by a Canadian, and there's pretty impressive names on that list. Andy Fantus.
I was going to say, and you got a couple old teammates there.
Yeah, Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard. 1988.
Emelis from Montreal, played his college ball at Louisiana Tech and drafted in the first round last year. 2nd and 10. Off to the left again and too far. Intended for Morrow, who's wanting a call here.
Yeah, Morrow wants a challenge from his head coach here on this one because he felt like he was grabbed in pursuit of that deep ball. Morrow's exits the backfield, and then he's going to run the wheel route here on Mike Awe, and you see the reach, little hand grab, but I think that's a good no call by the officials. Got to have a little hand fighting down the field.
Korsak standing at the Rider goal line on this 3rd down. Another great punt by this Aussie, chasing Logan back to his 30, a 65-yarder. And the return up over the 40 with a flag coming out.
During the return, illegal block. Calgary number 48, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Jake Mayer, a rookie just 2 years ago, but a leader now, and had this to say about the role he plays and the excitement in leading these young receivers he has.
If anything, it's my job to make their lives easier and to, you know, make things make sense for them and to keep their confidence up and, you know, just allow them to play free. Because I remember being in their shoes as a rookie, and that was the biggest thing for me was just, hey, play free, just cut it loose, live with the results later. Because you know you have a lot to learn when you're young, but you also have the ability to turn some heads when you're young.
They're throwing down, and that is long life, incomplete. 2nd down ahead. Interesting to hear Mayer talk. So it's just a couple of years ago, he was the rookie. Bo Levi Mitchell got hurt. He gets his opportunity, 3 starts, and now to hear him now, and rightfully so, sounding like a veteran, even though he has not played that much himself.
Yeah, I mentioned that off the top, that this is just start number 15 for him, and he does have some talent, though. I mean, and I'm not talking just about the Canadians that we pointed out, but Odom's Duke is coming on, and he is a guy to watch. 25 years old out of South Florida.
Looks deep, right side, and intended for Hakunavanu. Too far and 2 and out. 3rd 2 and out for the Stampeders.
I'm wondering, Rod, how much wind is down there. It doesn't look like it from the flags, but that's a 2nd deep throw from Jake Mayer that it looked like the wind caught it and it just sails past the deep road. I mean, when you look at the flags here, although it's tricky in McMahon Stadium, it swirls a little bit.
I was going to say that makes that last punt by Korsak that much more impressive. He had a 65-yarder against the breeze. And now we see Grace again. A couple of Australian punters, and the Riders nearly got to that one. Alford chased back inside his 20. Michael Griffin misses a chance to get him as he finally is thrown down by Young. Perry Young pushing him out of bounds. What a crazy first quarter we have seen. Calgary took it down the field, got a field goal. Saskatchewan answered. We got a tie game for the first 50. passing yardage certainly stands out, especially for Calgary. But these teams have been able to establish the running game, especially Saskatchewan in this 3-3 tie. And yeah, I mean, it's early in the season and it's a Western showdown, but this is a very different schedule for Saskatchewan from what they had a year ago.
Yeah, this is an important game in a lot of ways because for both these teams, they start with Western opponents. I mean, for the first 6 games of the season, the Riders will play Western opponents. They've already played Edmonton and Winnipeg. They're playing Calgary tonight. They'll play Calgary again and BC, and 4 out of the first 5 for Calgary. So again, you know, you want to set the tone early in the West Division. You got to win these divisional matchups.
They're all so important, and it was interesting a couple of nights ago with BC winning in Winnipeg to go to 3-0. The Bombers second place at 2-1, and the winner of this game would tie Winnipeg in second in the West. Devin Jones takes it. Kobe Williams comes in, and he takes him down for no gain.
Boy, that's just a great tackle in the open field by Williams because, you know, this is the play, you get one block, you get the corner, and there's a play to be made there, but that's film study right there, or video study now, or what do they call it? Tablet study now, I guess is the way it's described.
I still, even though film has been gone for decades,
I know, still say it.
like
It's football vernacular.
Check the film. It just sounds great. Oh, in and out of the hands of Winnipeg. And Kobe Williams again, a factor in that play. Right on Williams and a 2-and-out.
Well, this is a nice looking secondary in Calgary. I mean, this is, you know, Kobe Williams in his 3rd year. You got Natrell Jamerson, who's playing out in the corner. Trey Roberson's already made a couple of plays, and moving Brandon Dozier to safety. I mean, that's a position he's very comfortable with. So this is a very good secondary, Calgary Stampeders.
So it is Adam Korsak. Played college in Rutgers. He's from Melbourne, Australia, and that is Peyton Logan. 20, standing near the 20. And backing up to the 15 to take another good pump by Korsak. Breaking it straight up the middle. And a good return there by Logan to get it up across the Stampeder 40.
Well, the other thing about this game and how important it is for Dave Dickinson to get back in the winning ways in McMahon. I mean, this place was so hard to get a win for the visiting team for so many years. I mean, 30 wins, 6 losses overall, but you just take a look at the home struggles of late.
And out of the gate, though, remember 9-0, I believe, at home in his first season as head coach, 2016.
Then a couple of 7-2s, and since then it's gone sideways at home.
1st and 10. Jake Mayer in a 3-3 tie. Wide open. Hakuna Vanu wide open after the catch too. Luther Hakuna Vanu inside the Saskatchewan 40.
Yeah, you see his running style again. Another young receiver, just finding his way, but a huge, big athlete. I mean, 6'4", 210 pounds, and you can see he's a long strider. Watch him every step. He's going about 4 or 5 yards. It seems like 31-yard gain for Hakuna Vanu.
For the Edmonton native in his 3rd year out of York, 31 yards, easily his biggest reception of this young season. On the first down, back to Mills, and not much there up against that Rider front. Pete Robertson in on that tackle.
You know, Pete Robertson crashes down at this. At some point, Jake Mayer is going to have to pull this. I mean, you know, this crash down action here to get to the tailback is automatic if you're just running the ball and you're not pulling it ever. So you get to keep the defensive ends, you know, true and keep them outside and open up a seam for the tailback. Jake Mayer's going to have to pull that 1 or 2 times.
Good inside play for a guy we know on the outside. Led the Riders with 9 sacks last year, 7 early in the season before he got hurt. He missed a chunk of time. The knee injury. 2nd and 9. Mayer flushed out to the right. It's hit at the line of scrimmage. Knocked down by the Riders.
DeBeer, I think.
Charbel DeBeer.
Yes.
Big 99.
He gets the start at defensive tackle. Marcus Christmas out, and with Moncrief coming onto the lineup and starting at linebacker. Big man up there right over center, and Sean McEwen, the leaders of that group, gets washed to the outside and then hands up. Nice.
So Cody Grace will put this one down for Rene Paredes. He's 1 for 1. This outside the 45, and Paredes, money in the bank again. He missed his first 2 field goal tries in the season against BC a couple of weeks ago. He has been perfect since then. De Beers play limited to 3 and a 6-3 Calgary advantage. Action of the Travelers Championship. They tee off 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN and CTV2. Talking about the final group, Keegan Bradley in at 2, and Ches Reavie. Bradley 21 under par. Shot a 64 today, a 63 before that, and a 62 in the opening round. And his lead is just 1 shot. They're tearing it up.
21 under par, that's what the pros do, don't they? If they're lucky. I just quoted Kramer from Seinfeld. Sorry. And we continue.
I'm 21 under. If par is 200, I got that nailed. You do continue with those references. You started in Vancouver. That's Morrow on the 1-yard carry and hit a lot of yardage in the first quarter. Very busy for him carrying the ball. And they, as mentioned, had talked about wanting to get him more involved after last week. Second and 9. 6-3 Stampeders. First meeting of the year between these 2 traditional West rivals in a 3-man rush. And it's complete to Jake Winneke from Trevor Harris. That combination, of course, we knew from Montreal last year and the year before when Harris came over. And a gain of 12 for Saskatchewan and a first down.
Yeah, Gerald Hawkins did a nice job of blocking his man past Trevor Harris, but he gets rolled on, I believe, and is down. And take a look at the big left tackle. As he's in that pass pro, he's going to take Vaughters and run him by Trevor Harris, and then from behind he gets rolled up on and grabs that right knee.
Gerald Hawkins, his first year out of LSU. They had, as you talked about, 2 different tackles the first 2 games. It's rare to see a switch of both left and right tackle for 1 game. Once they were ready to go, Craig Dickinson wanted to put them in, and now he gets some attention on the field. He has to be taken off on a cart with an apparent left knee injury.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate here because he gets rolled on after a good block on Vaughters, and again in his very first game in the Canadian Football League, and just that knee gets rolled on.
So they make the change up front on the O-line. Logan Bandy is into this game, number 69. On the ground, Jamal Morrow. Bandy got time after Dan Clark got injured early last season in Edmonton. Bandy had a lot of games at center. His second year out of Calgary. Played for the Dinos.
So they move Logan Furland out to left tackle. Bandy in at guard and leave Peter Godber at center.
Second down now after that carry by Morrow. On the ground again. Jamal Morrow. Not quite a first down, but it'll be a 3rd and short coming up.
You just wonder the 3rd and short for coaches in the Canadian Football League as we watch Furlan on this playing that tackle spot now. It's a kick-out block, but coaches, you know, are that 1-yard zone where they'll go for it on 3rd down is stretching to 1.5 yards these days with the athletic quarterbacks running short yardage. They're going to leave them on the field.
They're on the Calgary side, not by much. The Stamps 49 and a 3rd and 2, and they're going for it. That is shotgun Harris. Handing off to Morrow again, who tries to plow his way down, and he does. 3rd and 2, and he got 3 or 4 there. In 5 yards he got from our statistician Dave Moyer as he gets it inside the 45.
Yeah, Craig Dickinson likes this because you know he was anxious on a 3rd and 2 to not just turn it over on downs, but real good blocking and push up front gives Morrow that room, and that's just a bit of a sigh of relief, I would say, over there for the head coach.
Putting a lot of faith in Morrow and the running game in this one. And back to him, right side, pushing down to about the 40.
Now I will say too, it's in that bubble zone where the ball was that, you know, they sometimes will not punt from there because you're just basically going for a single anyway. So
worth the risk at that place on the field.
yeah, exactly. And not surprised to see Morrow back involved again because you got the changes up front, the O-line, and now they're trying to say, let's settle down the O-line, let them run block first. And a pretty nice job up front.
Haven't talked to too many O-linemen in history that have preferred pass blocking. When they get a chance to shoot off and hit somebody, like the running game. Second down. Taking to Morrow and completing that one to Bain. And that one close to another first down inside the 35.
I just love the chess match of football when an offensive coordinator and Kelly Jeffrey goes run tomorrow, run tomorrow, run tomorrow, and then he says, you know what, now we'll pull it on the fake tomorrow and just throw this little one to Bain over the middle. I just 1, 2 plays in a row, 3 plays, 4 plays in a row for Kelly Jeffrey sets up that key second down throw to move the chains.
Great for possession, time of possession too. It's the 8th play of this drive. They had a long drive in the first order too as Harris just pulls it down and slides. Couldn't find anyone. And a flag comes out as he just slid down for a gain of 4.
Looks like this is going to be holding against Saskatchewan.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 51. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's Peter Godber at center. No change there. He started the game in that spot. So let's take a look. Brent Monson gets now his defense in a good situation because they'll do down over, but now they've holding call up front. Yeah, you can see the jersey pull on TJ Raham. Godber didn't let him redirect and get to Trevor Harris.
So it's a 1st and 20. Riders push back. And off to the left. Swinging it out to one of the new receivers for Saskatchewan, Kendall Watson. His first CFL catch. And he didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you know what? That's not working on that side. Kobe Williams has got that shut down. That's a second or third play that he's made out there on very similar attempts. And now all of a sudden you get in second and long. Your defense from Brent Monson gets more confidence. But we've seen a couple of plays by Kobe Williams from the halfback spot just stepping up and taking that down right away.
A loss of 5, and with that holding penalty, last 2 plays have done 15 yards the other way. A 2nd and 25 to Stamps 49 for Harris. Quickly off to the right again to Morrow. And he gets knocked down after breaking 1 tackle. It's Cameron Judge. And forcing a long 3rd down here for the Riders.
Now the Riders do have the wind, and they're going to line up for a long field goal here. We'll take a look at the tackle by Cam Judge. Has an interception, that against BC in the opening game of the season for Calgary. They lost to the Lions that week.
This one, with the breeze as his back, 52 yards. Lauders hit them further than that. It's put down to tie the game again. It's heading left, and it is wide. And it is the rookie, Clark Barnes, bringing it out. Has a good return as he breaks a couple. Cuts it back inside. A flag is out, and Tevin Jones finally pushes him out. So they missed the chance to tie. In at running back for the injured Kadeem Carey, and he had a couple of games and great games against Saskatchewan last year, but carrying the football isn't the only thing he likes about this game. Let's go back to Brett.
Yeah, something that he prides himself on is his pass protection. He's really a team guy. He said, I love helping out the O-line. I love keeping my quarterback on his feet, and I love making guys regret coming and trying to hit me because I hit them back even harder. So then I asked quarterback Jake Mayer about him, and he said, oh yeah, that completely describes him. He's the type of guy that you flinch whenever you watch him because he literally believes nobody can tackle him. And one word he used to describe him, fearless. So kind of like how you describe you guys.
Yeah, and we're really fearless up here in the booth just watching the game. Brett, well, the guy guy beside me, he could lay it out down in the field.
That's what I mean, you can see that in Dedrick Mills. I mean, you can see how he searches out contact. I mean, he'll get into the second level, and a lot of running backs are trying to run to space. He's searching out contact to go and attack the defenders.
Kadeem Carey's one of the top running backs in the CFL. He's been great, but not bad as a backup. And Dave Dickinson and Jake Mayer are both saying he's kind of like Kadeem Carey, younger version. Enthusiastic, loves the additional role, good team guy, great in the room, tough. Little fake to him as finds an open receiver. It is Malik Henry and a first down. Calgary up at the 38.
Yeah, this is an on-time. This is the type of throw that as soon as you get open on that second cut, there you're Malik Henry, the ball arrives. It's a nice 19-yard gain back-to-back off of play action to Dedrick Mills. But yeah, that's the type of running back. We had a great discussion with him and talked about his days back with Nebraska, but he started out playing for Georgia Tech in his freshman year and ended up getting to the Gator Bowl. So nice catch by Henry over the middle off the play action.
C.J. Rivas is being removed from this game for concussion protocol, we are told.
Spotters saw something they didn't like, and he was asked to remove him. We'll go through protocol.
So a change at safety again for the Riders. Jake Mayer 4 for 9 in this game because Calgary's been running the football so much.
Well, this is Jackson Ford now getting a chance to play, and he was impressive in training camp and played well on the teams. And he, of course, is the grandson of Al Ford, who is a great player for the Saskatchewan Roughriders back in the 60s and 70s. Grey Cup champion as a player in 66. And a GM, in fact, one I know quite well because I was there in '89.
Negotiated your contract?
In '94, so sat down with Al Ford to negotiate contracts, and he was always fantastic.
We got early movement on the line. Pete Robertson coming in against Jake Mayer. He and Anthony Lanier met at Mayer to take him down, and it looked like Robertson got the early jump.
Wow, that was a hit that.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 45. 5-yard penalty. Second down repeated.
You know, and officials will let the play go when it's really close. When it's really close, they're going to let the play go because it's a free play with the penalty flag on the ground for the offense. But this is the downside of that because it happens so quick. Jake Mayer takes a pretty big shot on a play that didn't count.
And they took him out. Tommy Stevens in, although it is short yardage. That's why Stevens is in. Carry that across. Keep the drive going as Mayer does come back out again. 3-minute warning until halftime. Low score.
Comic book expert Paul LaPolice on who saved the world more times, just Batman or the Avengers. Maddie's busy. Milt?
Wakanda forever, baby. Avengers assemble.
No debate.
It's got this image of Shinetti having Lapo at Comic-Con. Those guys would be in heaven. But they'll keep it to this game. Deep ball! Henry just off the fingertips. A little bit closer. He could have had 6.
Yeah, you're right. It was that close. Right at the bottom of your screen, you see the end of it there. But you could see that Henry
Timer, could we please put 2:34 on the clock? Thank you.
Serious separation on Nick Marshall. And Marshall went, okay, you got me there.
He had him just a bit too far. 2nd and 10. Calgary 51. They have a 3-point lead. And this their longest drive They started way back at their 5. Mayer. Oh, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver there, Clark Barnes. So 2 quick plays out of that 3-minute break. And they're heading on for the punting unit.
Yeah, I think Micah Tights might have got his hand in there and knocked this down because take a look at the route here, because he breaks out and Micah Tights is going to just get on that inside shoulder with deep help. He knows he's got a guy over the top, so he can stay underneath this throw. Well, no, actually Barnes just dropped it, had a chance at it. The downside of the young guys.
Missed a chance there. 50-yard punt. Alford breaking away. He's got some room. Oh, he just can't keep his feet, and the flag does come out. And Alford, well, forget the flag for a moment, just thinking of what might have been if he just could have kept his feet.
During the return, holding. Saskatchewan number 31.
Wouldn't have mattered.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Would have been coming back anyway, but a good burst of speed in space for Mario Alford.
Take another look at this, and I just saw that lane open up, and for a guy with his speed, he is gone here. Just a shoestring trip. Now we've looked back at the penalties that have been called on the returns. One for missed field goal, that one, they're penalties. So if you're a Calgary fan or a Rider fan, you can get mad at the refs all you want, but at the end of the day, they were penalties, and players got to make better decisions, especially when you have returners like we have in the CFL. If your guy is out of position and you're going to have to grab him to make the block, don't do it, because they can make people miss.
Alford coming in, second to Janarian Granton, combined yards in the CFL. In over 2 minutes, Harris runs into his own man, and this red wave there as well as he is taken down. That's Derek Wigan already has a sack. The first one for a defensive lineman this season for Calgary.
Yeah, it was a good push by the entire D-line. I mean, the entire D-line got pushed up and reestablished themselves in the Saskatchewan backfield, and then it just, all the blocking schemes are messed up, and it's called just creating havoc from inside the defensive line.
Big second and 19 here. Still lots of time on the clock. And a 3-man rush coming. Harris getting it away. And good coverage after the catch. Cameron Judge coming in to limit the damage after that catch by Tevin Jones for 4 yards. And a 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, you start to get the feeling that side with Cameron Judge playing over there with Kobe Williams, the tackling for them in the first half's been outstanding. I mean, they are not letting these quick hitches or quick slants turn into big plays after the catch.
Corsack standing about 5 yards deep. It's a 3-point game near halftime. He does put it away with the wind at his back, and he's boomed some, and this is pretty good too, a 53-yarder. But still, it'll be good field position here as Logan works his way close to midfield.
Scan the QR promo code on screen to pay $30 less on a Crave Total 6-month plan versus a monthly subscription to get access to the most talked about series and latest hit movies.
1:24 on the clock.
Older brother against the younger brother.
You know, every time they meet, the question has come up several times, like 8 times now at least, about the matchup. So you think they're going to be tired of hearing about it, and they know it's coming. But Craig did say how thrilled he still is to be able to coach against his brother, just to be involved in the same game. And their parents were up for the weekend. They're not at the game, but yeah. Craig was saying they'd have a chance to have dinner with them as they come up, and they'd be wearing a lot of red and green, or neither, I assume.
Yeah, and I love when we talk to them on Zoom and we talk to both coaches and ask the question again. You know, it's been happening for so many years. Is it still a thing? And they both went, nah, not really, and then went on for about 15 minutes about how it was a cool thing.
Well, the bragging rights have gone, as we pointed out at the start, to little brother Dave. Won.
Well, there was a West Final.
I was just going to say, there was one playoff game that Greg won. Stars beat them in 2021 in the postseason. Derek Moncrief.
There you go.
An all-star in 2022 despite playing with a bad shoulder. He had surgery in November, which delayed the start of his season. The debut is happening today.
Well, you knew it wouldn't be long. I mean, he had to get his feet under him. When you get back after an injury and you haven't played for a while, it takes some time. But he is a unique athlete defensively. I mean, he is like the Darryl Hall. Remember Darryl Hall back? He kind of started the tweener here in Calgary. He's that kind of guy.
Alford again won't get a crack at it as it hits the turf and then it rolls out of bounds at looks like right at the 20-yard line. 49 seconds.
Because you know, Rod, when you take a DB like C.J. Reeves, you take a smaller guy and you play him down at Sam. Great cover guys, obviously, but they're a little light in the backside when it comes to taking on a pulling guard in the run game or something like that. Or you play a bigger linebacker who's really good in the run game, but tough to cover when you get him out in open space. He does both. He can do both because he's that type of athlete.
Sam being strong side linebacker, Will being inside, but it's interesting how that position has evolved. Suits, you're talking about it. More of a coverage position, but he is the strength. And what a sack there by James Vaughters back in the CFL this year for the first time since 2018. And the defensive line for the Stampeders, they're finally picking up their sacks in this game.
Yeah, you know, and you know that they've looked at the stats, and they never said it. You know, no one said it this week. And that's three-man pressure, too, with a back in there as well, and just beating your man. But they looked at it and went, okay, 2 weeks in, and our D-line does not have a sack. Well, both those guys do tonight.
Derek Wigan and Vaughters went away to the NFL for a while, but picked up a ring with Calgary back in 2018. Just a couple of plays left in this half. Riders handing off again to Morrow. Right side, finds some room, gets a first down up across the 30. With 18 seconds to go until we head back to these guys. Matthew Shinetti doing a great job sitting in for Kate this weekend. Milt Stegall, Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan.
Well, two of the three on the right there want to see more passing. But I know our quarterback understands how important that run game, especially establishing it in the first half, is. And both these teams have done that with Morrow in Saskatchewan and, of course, Diedrich Mills with Calgary.
What a catch here by Samuel Emilus.
Yeah.
Up for it.
All right. Go up and get it.
Wonder, too, just
a poster shot. Remember posters?
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic poster shot. Just wonder, too, about the confidence, the infusion that he would get from the game, like the one he had last week against.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's. Look out.
Last play. It's caught. No, it's not. Oh, and it's like Emilus was shaken up a bit on that. As the clock goes down to zeros. There's a chance for another catch for Emilus, but
Braden Lenius is out, Schaefer Baker is out, Darrell Walker is out, and that was Brandon Dozier coming from deep outside third to get a shot on Sam Emilus there.
Well, it's been a low-scoring game, but some interesting points to it. The running game, and also some crazy fumbles and near turnovers, and for Trevor Harris, not quite the same.
It has a lot to do with the outcome of the game.
You may not think so. I know you've experienced that too. You got to be careful with the tie choice. And so it goes in Morrow's hands, and he gets it up to start the second half to the Saskatchewan 30, and a shorter kickoff again by the Stampeders.
A good pass defense by both defenses, but the run game, you know, they got Jamal Morrow going early and often in this one. He had close to 100 yards rushing in the first half, 12 carries for 87, his longest a 22-yarder. Did a real good job in protection too when he was asked. So the running back sort of center stage in this one. Every game is a different journey.
Harris takes the handoff. He throws off to the right. That's Kendall Watson in his CFL debut. Had one touch in the first half for no gain. And this time picks up a first down on a gain of 15.
This is kind of what Jake Mayer said about young guys. You know, young players. Kendall Watson getting a chance, a rookie out of Samford, who gets a chance to get in the lineup because of the injuries and got some speed over there.
It's intercepted by Cameron Judge. It was deflected by Julian Hauser at the line, and an easy pick coming in for Judge after the work by Hauser on Trevor Harris. So we got a big turnover to start the second half for Calgary up near their 50.
Coming off the edge, the offensive line's going to slide protect to their left, and so that leaves an open lane for Hauser. But instead of sliding down with them, concerned with the run, he stays true and stays in contain. Now he's in the throwing lane. He gets up and gets the knockdown.
Second interception of the season for Cameron Judge, and Julian Hauser over from Hamilton. His first year with the Stampeders with that play. Short gain. Diedrich Mills on first down. Second and long coming up.
Mills didn't have the yardage that Morrow had in the first half, but he was important, and a couple of those runs early for over 10.
Say first possession. Yeah, he had back-to-back 11-yard carries, and it looked like they were really going to establish him, but you're right, they did get away from that a bit later on. David Mills got the start against Ottawa last week after Kadeem Carey got injured here at McMahon in week 1 against BC. Second and 9 at the Calgary 50 for Jake Mayer. The blitz is coming. He gets it away. Oh, it's intercepted, and it's still in the hands of Roland Milligan. He dropped it, he picked it up, and he takes it all the way down to the one. They're calling it a touchdown. There was a hesitation where he went down. What a play by Roland Milligan.
The ball has been bouncing everywhere tonight. It's been all over the place. Remember that fumble early on that Five Stamps had a crack at it and didn't grab it? I mean, this one, okay, first of all, it's just outside. So Milligan chasing across the field. It drops right in his hands. Then he dropped it and caught it on the bounce, which almost never happens because of the shape of the football. And then away he goes. Tucker almost gets there. Now, is he down or did he cross the plane?
Well, that was what they were looking at. They didn't call it a touchdown yet. They look at it here, knee down, and is the ball broken the plane? So I'm sure they're going to be taking another look at that before this point after it. But it is a touchdown. Roland Milligan. His second interception of the season.
After automatic review by the command center, the runner was deemed down at the 1-yard line. To be Saskatchewan, first down.
Okay, they had called it a touchdown, and now they have reversed it. So we'll call it a 56-yard return now, as the Saskatchewan offense will have to come out.
Well, turnovers are automatically reviewed, and so are scores. So the command center, we're going to look at that, and you know, from the replay, it did look like his knee touched before the ball crossed the plane. But I'm marveling at the fact that that bounce, when he dropped it after the interception and caught the bounce right back up to him. Moncrief off the edge forces the inaccurate throw. Now here comes the drop, and he picks it up.
Shea Patterson in short yardage. One play later, it is a Saskatchewan Roughrider touchdown. Patterson will go down in the books as the one who scored that TD. Milligan did that legwork after the pick, bobbling the ball, picking it up, taking it just about all the way.
Well, the command center takes one away from a DB who doesn't often get it in the end zone, and that's probably why there's not more of a celebration from Roland Milligan on the bench over there, but he was, boy, he got that bounce on the run.
And just kept going. And the point after. No,
make it.
Wave it off right for Brett Lawver. So they do get their 6. And they take the lead by 3. Roland Milligan dropped it, gets it, and takes it just about.
And he's going to come on the blitz, and so is Moncrief off the edge. This is the receiver right here. that was the intended target. And it looked like Jake Mayer was going to the right guy because the middle linebacker vacates. There's Malik Henry. He is open, but the pressure from Moncrief forces the inaccurate throw. Milligan picks it off because it's a little bit behind and over Malik Henry, and away he goes. But that one hopper right back to him. Wow.
And so Saskatchewan leads by 3. Drop ball by Logan, and this kick return, and he's hit hard by Amari Henderson, who nearly had a big play that was overturned in the first half. A flag comes out.
During the return, holding. Calgary number 48. 10-yard penalty. First down.
This is why I say it's almost wrong at times to say helmet to helmet is always a penalty, because helmet contact will happen quite often. I mean, it's part of the process, but as long as you don't lead with it, you're good. That was a clean hit and a big one.
And the illegal block for the hold called on Jordan Herdman-Reed, inserted into the Calgary lineup, an ex-Rider. So Dedrick Mills again, grinding through with Larry Dean there. And Micah Tights, the weak side linebacker, too, taking him down.
Two good linebacking corps here. You think of Micah Tights, Larry Dean, and then the addition of Derek Moncrief back in that group. And then, you know, for Calgary, Micah Alway leads the league in tackles coming into this game and this week. Cameron Judge, all-star linebacker as well. So good defenses and good backers from both these teams.
Early second half. Riders, they've been trailing. On that touchdown, they take the lead, 9-6. Mayer with the heat coming, and Moncrief in the coverage there on Mills. So a completed pass, but not enough for a first down, and the Rider defense holds here as they'll have to punt it away deep.
That's what I mean about the matchup. When you get a guy like Derek Moncrief, and he, you know, Jake Mayer thinks that Mills is open because he's got about 4 yards of separation, and he thinks that Moncrief is a linebacker, so he's not going to close that quickly. But because he's so athletic, he can close that space in a heartbeat.
Closed it down quickly. 5th 2 and out for Calgary's offense in this game. Cody Grace standing at his 5. Mario Alford standing at his 40. Kicking it off to the left. 54-yarder. Alford. And nowhere to go. The wall of red coming down on him. Saskatchewan ball as Harris is back out with a 3-point lead.
And here's a full list of the games that you can check out this season for the Purolator Tackle Hunger. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Brett. When we see that initiative, we can only think of one person in particular. As the Riders have the ball and Jamal Morrow nowhere to go. And that one person, of course, our late colleague Chris Schultz, who, remember all those years, the big man he loved being a part of that. And getting all that food gathered together in the Purolator initiative. Tackle Hunger, Schultz was involved for many, many years.
Yeah, late Chris Schultz, and loved being part of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was sincere. He loved it, and over 20 million pounds of food donated.
He was very proud of that. He passed away a couple of years ago. We miss you, Schultz. Deep ball, Harris. Oh, nearly caught by Winicky, who is hit just as it came in. Perfectly timed by the Stampeders.
You know, Winicky's been a bit of a puzzle. I mean, you know, a good athlete and guy who has chemistry with Trevor Harris, going back to their Montreal days, and both, you know, mutual respect is outstanding. They're great friends. They have the chemistry. I mean, you can't throw it any better than Harris threw it. But it's been a bit of a slow start for Winicky this season as a Rider, and he's limping off, which isn't a good sign. And another play by Kobe Williams.
Kobe Williams there in the coverage. Dozier coming in after the ball had sailed through, and Winicky slow heading off. So the 5th 2 and out for Saskatchewan's offense. And the punt by Corsack, a 53-yard punt, and Seth Logan gets it up to the Calgary 21.
You know, Rod, that I often like to just say thank you to the men and women in the Canadian Forces, the men and women in law enforcement in our country, and the first responders that are running in when everyone is running out of a disaster situation. I want to say a special hello to Evan Bray, who is the chief of police in Saskatchewan, and he retires after 25 years of service. A great friend and just a great police chief for this in Regina. Happy retirement. The big party's tonight.
Happy retirement.
And thank you to all the first responders, police officers, and men and women in the Canadian Forces.
Stampeders with the ball, trailing by 3. That's Malik Henry with it. And a first down up across the 35.
You know, Malik Henry wanted to get right back in there and get that chemistry going again between him and Mayer because of that interception in the last series from Roland Milligan. Get him started, get that first one, high percentage throws.
Now make note, suits Tommy Stevens, the backup quarterback, is in this game. Off the fake and takes it up to the 40.
That's a good note because I'm looking right down at my chart thinking, okay, they're getting that going, and it's Tommy Stevens. Now they're going to rotate back out.
We saw Stevens run a play on 1st and 10 in the first half. We also saw Stevens have the longest run from scrimmage in the CFL last year against Saskatchewan right here at McMahon Stadium. That was late in the season. Not just about short yardage. Here's Mayer. Off to his right. And he completes the Mills. And another first down. Calgary on the move.
Good throw to the outside, and I like what Mills did as soon as he caught it. I mean, he catches the ball and he freezes a defender that's trying to chase after him and try and go over there and hit him short. Because when he catches his ball, it's a great throw, nice tight spiral from Jake Mayer. Gets it out there. Now watch him just stutter a step right there and freeze the defender, and that gives him the extra 4 to get the first down. I mean, any defender in that situation has to pause. He has to wait to see which direction the running back's going to go.
Calgary up near midfield now. Away quickly. It is caught. And that is Cole Tucker, and I believe his first CFL catch. It is for the rookie activated for this game.
Well, when you look at the passing numbers after the first half, and they were not spectacular, let's just put it that way. A lot of reason for that is young receivers, and you know they've got to find their way. And we heard Jake Mayer talk to the fans about how it's, you know, he takes it upon himself to try and help them and give them what they need to run with confidence and just cut it loose. But you know, both these teams very similar. You know, they're 1-1 after 2 weeks. Playing against each other with banged up receiving cores and some young guys getting an opportunity to play.
And an injury up front on the O-line. Bryce Bell moves to right tackle as Caleb Benenoch was injured and taken off the field. So both teams have had to deal with an injury up front. Mayer. It's complete. And good yardage after the catch. He is gone. 52 yards, Malik Henry. Mayer found the spot. Henry did the rest. Calgary has the lead again.
Smooth run, and what a move in the open field by Malik Henry. First of all, Jake Mayer's gonna drift away from this throw. He puts it right on him, and he does not break stride. He just sort of drifts away. And look at that move, cut back to the inside on C.J. Rivas, and goodbye.
Here's Nick Lewis. I hope giving him praise there.
Yeah, well, they didn't hear the first part, but yeah, he's a receivers coach.
Malik Henry from Jake Mayer. A a lot after the catch. Into the end.
Smooth route running here from Malik Henry, and he's working on Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall is in a man-to-man situation, playing at the line of scrimmage. Now watch Marshall. This time he cuts underneath. We know that at times Nick Marshall will take a chance for that interception. Cut underneath the upfield shoulder, and this time Malik Henry makes him pay. And what a move in the open field on C.J. Rivas. He had to slam on the brakes and couldn't redirect.
Gets him up to 3 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. He had over 100 yards receiving last week in Ottawa. Alford slips as he goes down right at the Saskatchewan 29. So the Riders had trailed earlier, and now they trail again.
Watch that move one more time. I mean, he catches the slant going one way, and then watch how he takes that little outside fake, plants that left foot, and look at Rivas just trying to slam the brakes on a redirect, and just basically you can't get there. Too much room, too much space.
Their top receiver a year ago in his 3rd year at West Georgia, 5 plays, 89 yards. Much of it on that 1 play for the touchdown. Riders down 4. Trevor Harris, it is caught. Tevin Jones approaching about the 34. Call it a gain of 6.
Quite remarkable, 11 of 19 for Trevor Harris, but under 100 yards passing in almost 3 quarters. After coming off a 400-yard game.
Yeah, although they have made quite a commitment in the first half to the run. They didn't have the points to show for it after some good drives.
Exactly. 11 in the first half. 11-play drive, went 93 yards. Got a field goal out of that. 11-play drive that only went 26 yards, but because of some penalties that pushed it back, missed a field goal there, and then I had a 40-yard drive and got 0 points out of that. Good to see Winicky back on the field. He limped off after that last attempt.
And with that, they get a first down at their 45. They need more to show for their ability to move the ball. Bain, next down, facing his old team for the first time, and a flag does come out as he gets close to first down yardage for Saskatchewan.
Let's see what this flag is.
Major foul, blindside block. Saskatchewan number 19. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, you can't do this one. This is Sam Emelis. You see Bain coming out here, Moxie chasing him, and Emelis coming downhill. You can't come back towards your own line of scrimmage and blindside block a defender. Moxie trying to make the tackle, and there's a hit. And that is a player safety change that was made years back.
So instead of being close to another first down at midfield, the Riders are pushed back. A 1st and 25.
And that's exactly why the rule was changed years ago, because it's a dangerous play. Moxie's still trying to shake that hit off. Used to be part of the game, and in fact you used to look to teammates to call those crackback blocks, but I think it's the right thing to do to take it out of the game. Good for the player's safety, and that Moxie was behind anyway. I mean, he was behind the play. It didn't look like.
So you see Tay Daly is in now at field half. Kobe Williams moving over to boundary half with Moxie off on this play in a 1st and 25. Play fake. Harris with time. Can't find anybody. He takes off. Doesn't do it often. Gets up close to the 40, and still a long way to go for the Riders on this 2nd down.
You know, I've said many times that establishing the run and then go and play action off the run, to me, is the best attack and approach, because defensively, you're never sure. But when you're 1st and 25...
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah, 1st and 25, 2nd and 25, play action fake doesn't mean anything. If a defender bites on a play action fake on 1st or 2nd and 25, yeah, not good.
2nd and 16. What are they dialed up now? Shorter pass to Morrow. Good tackling after it. That's Darius Williams in on Calgary's defense there to make sure he goes no further. And Saskatchewan's got a long 3rd down.
Yeah, basically you can play 3-man pressure, drop everybody underneath. They can make Trevor Harris throw it there and then come up and make the tackle. And that was a good one from Williams. The Stamps on defense have tackled well tonight.
Late 3rd quarter, Corsack to punt. He's punted well in this game. He's punted a lot, too. And he gets the roll into the end zone. Right past the dead ball line. And could be an important point for the Riders as they cut the lead to 3.
It's a big point.
But this is why Calgary leads this game right now. Malik Henry touchdown, now 13-10. And an important point for the Riders. They had a missed extra point earlier, and that gets it back. It's now a 3-point lead again for Calgary. Under 3 minutes to go until 3/4 time for Jake Mayer. Starting at their 40. Touchdown. Follows up here with 5 more yards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and you know, Dave Dickinson, as the offensive coordinator as well, is moving Malik Henry around with those young receivers. That play he made for the touchdown, he was in the slot, and that play he goes out for the hitch screen, and now he's a wide receiver on the short side. So they're just mixing it up and changing things up. That Delmonico coaching the O-line and assisting with Dave. Dave's got a lot of hats, so they need an OC to help with Dave's game plan.
On this play, dangerous play. Nick Marshall was coming in and thinks he should have had it as Mayer released that into a crowd.
Well, this is a bit of the Nick Marshall world, isn't it? You know, one time he'll cut underneath and the offense will get him for it, and the next time he's gonna instinctually get to the football and knock it out of their interception. He almost had an interception, and he would just been in a foot race with an offensive lineman had he grabbed that. And there goes the push-ups. Yep.
He's going to pay for it. Understood, self-imposed fine for missing a chance at a pick here. Cody Grace takes a hop back. Alford running in. He could draw the no yards, and he does. Big free agent acquisition for the Calgary Stampeders in the offseason. Julian Hauser had some great years as a member of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, predominantly sacks, but a couple of interceptions as well last season with more. Britt Dorr.
Yeah, and Dave Dickinson was not shy about one of the players he was pumped to pick up in free agency. He pointed right to Hauser. He told me maybe he's not a guy you notice on the field, but boy, when you watch him on film, does he pop. He said you'll see all the coverage happening, and you'll look over to the side, and there's Julian Hauser following the play. And he said that's the biggest asset about him, is he's the type of guy that always knows where the play is at and how to make the play. And you even saw it tonight, get that ball back.
Brady takes great pride in being a versatile defensive end. He had his second interception last season here off Jake Mayer when Hamilton was here.
Yeah, they can drop him, right? They can. He's athletic. He's kind of that Moncrief kind of guy.
Versatility on the ground. Not much there over the 45. A pickup of 3.
He's got a whole toolbox when it comes to pass rush. one of those guys that the motor never gets back into neutral. It's always full speed all the time. But again, that versatility you talk about, you can rush him off the edge, obviously good in the run game, but he can drop and get deep, like 15, 20 yards.
Trevor Harris completes this one down to the Calgary 45. That is just inside for Kendall Watson. A gain of 20. Watson getting the chance after an injury to Juwan Brescison. They've had problems with injured receivers, too. He gets his chance here.
Real good accuracy with the pressure coming. The Calgary Stampeders sent everybody. Jamal Morrow picks up the A-gap blitz. That's right down the middle, and it allows Trevor to step up in the pocket and just put a nice little rainbow on that and drop it in there to Kendall Watson.
They're spotted at the 44. Here come the Riders. They trail by 3. Could be the final play of the third quarter for Harris. Taking the handoff, stepping up. Wide open, Tevin Jones. Could walk in for the Saskatchewan touchdown.
Just amazing. And you know, the game inside the game is protections, and watch Morrow here on that last play where he dropped it to Kendall Watson. Morrow made a big block on the blitz. Now he's going to fake it and then get the chip on the outside so that Trevor Harris has a chance to step up in the pocket, climb in there, and hit Jones wide open on the crossing road on the shallow post.
So Lawther looking to make it a 4-point Rider lead, which he does. A flag does come out on that point after try. So we'll wait and see as there are zeros in the clock in three-quarter time. But what a way to end the quarter. Tevin Jones last week, I mean, Emilus was the headliner for the 3 touchdowns. Jones last week, he made big catches. He had 9 of them for 121, including one that set up the first Emilus touchdown.
After review by the video official, there's no flag on the play.
So they pick it up. And the Riders pick it up, too. They've led, they trailed, they lead again. Tevin Jones from Trevor Harris, wide open and in. Scoring only 9 points and a lot of running plays, but in this second half so far, that third quarter saw some big passing plays, those 2 that led to touchdowns.
Yeah, Tevin Jones for Saskatchewan. Malik Henry, the 52-yarder on the great move on C.J. Rivas in the middle. And all of a sudden the offenses have got going here, and that's good to see. I mean, every game has a different sort of feel to it, different journey, and they established the run early. That's why we had a low-scoring game in the first half, and then second half, offenses are clicking in. And one of the reasons for that is that both these quarterbacks go to the sideline, look at the tablets right away, and they make their adjustments on the fly. Good teams do that.
Jones with his first touchdown of the season. 17-13 to start the fourth quarter. Riders. Calgary gets the ball. Logan. Oh, he's trying to keep his feet too. He does have a pretty good return. Herdman Reed taking him down as he was tripped up, and he appears to be hurt as well. He gets it up across the Calgary 50. Logan still down.
Just got tripped up. He makes himself skinny right behind the wedge. Gets skinny right in there. That's not a real big hole to run through, but he gets there and then trips up. I think he tripped up on his own guy. Holding the back of his leg.
Isaac Adeyemi Berglund, the one, just the way that Logan shot through and tripped a bit on him, and he is still down on the field. One of many electric kick returners in the Canadian Football League that we've talked about, but hobbled here and needs some help to get off.
He grabbed the back of his knee. They're not taking any chance of putting any pressure on that. We have a medical tent now see that getting put into place so they can take a look without prying eyes.
We've seen Longley on kick return in this game and before, but for punt return, we've seen Clark Barnes early in the season, the rookie receiver, field some punts too. Should they need to make a change, that one is incomplete. Trey Odom's Dukes is at a quieter game compared to the first two of the season.
Yeah, just missed him. He's coming from the left of the screen, and C.J. Rivas, who is back in the game at free safety. Of course, we saw him on that Malik Henry play, but he's back there, and he reacts to this one just a split second late because that throw behind. If you miss a guy over the middle, there's usually DBs in back there waiting for that opportunity.
And the Stamps in second and long again are 3 for 12 in second down conversions from their 50. And Mayer takes off. And he gets enough for a first down. Right down the Rider 50, just inside the 49.
That's a heads-up move at the end of the play because Jake Mayer knows exactly where the sticks are. Instead of hook slide, which would have kept him about a yard or maybe two short, he slides or gives himself up forward, diving to the marker.
So another running first down for Calgary, courtesy Jake Mayer. His first carry in this game. Rider 49 throws it down to the turf in front of Diedrich Mills, who has some words with Micah Tights after the whistle.
This was a ground the ball deliberately by Jake Mayer to go 2nd and 10 rather than try and put it to Mills, who was completely blanketed by Micah Tights.
Another 2nd and long. They did convert last time, thanks to the running of Mayer. Throws it left side, completes it. Akunavanu inside the 40, down to the 35. Another first down, Calgary Stampeders, and a pickup of 14 for Akunavanu.
Luther Akunavanu shaves the route here real nice. On our Zoom calls with quarterbacks, we often hear that term where when he's running his route, he wants to shave it off in front of the DB. Just go to your spot, or if you're running a curl or a post or a dig, something in the middle, you're going to come back and shave in front of the defensive back. And that's what Akunavanu does here. Puts his foot in the ground, gets a couple extra yards after the catch. Trevor Harris talks about it all the time. He loves when his receivers will shave the route off, come back and just cut under the DB.
Meanwhile, we have an injured Stampeder still down on the field. It is Malik Henry, who had a big touchdown catch and run of 52 yards in the third quarter, but also not a good sight as he needs help to get off to the sideline.
He's out there at the wideout spot to the right. 3 and 2. That was just a non-contact. Something happened when he took off.
Reggie Begelton had a great game last week when he got hurt, put on the 6th game, and yeah, that look says it all. Malik Henry, top 2 receivers for the Stamps coming into this season. And we've talked a lot about how they're dressing rookies in this game because they're thin at experience in the receiving core, and the most experienced one there, Henry, non-contact injury it appears as he's headed off now. So they're at the Rider 35. Akunavanu with the first down. Mayer steps up, tries to take off again, but he can't. Larry Dean comes in and makes sure of it. Does pick up a couple of yards. Another 2nd and long coming up.
Dave Dickinson in the Zoom with us this week was talking about those injuries and guys like Reggie Begelton not in the lineup, and basically saying he's interested himself to see the young guys, but also to see who steps up as a leader. And now with Malik Henry off the field, see who does that, makes those big plays.
A problem, an opportunity, you could call it too, for some young Stampeder receivers. 3 to the right. Off to the left, and Odom's Dukes. And a touchdown in the season opener here at McMahon against the BC Lions. And another first down and a gain of 21, Calgary.
You can tell it's a Western matchup. You can tell it's a rivalry game in a lot of ways. You can tell, and you know how you can tell that Trey Odom's Dukes doesn't run out of bounds here. He goes down that sideline, and Nick Marshall stepping up to make a tackle. He lowers the shoulder and takes on the contact. Most of the time you'll see a receiver run out of bounds there.
Instead, a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the West going head to head.
It is. It is, and it's historically been a very good rivalry. You hear a lot about Riders, Bombers. The green versus the red has been Saskatchewan 12. Calgary's there for Jake Mayer, and just throws it away.
Yeah, Dave Dickinson just looks over to see his star receiver in Malik Henry. And there he's still in the tent, and he's just thinking the card has backed up to help him to the locker room for further examination. So you mentioned it's opportunities for young guys to make their mark.
Like right now, this is as deep as Calgary's gone. With the exception of the touchdown, but no, it's picked off instead, intended for Odom's Dukes. Larry Dean has it. Big turnover, Roughriders, as Dean takes it out. Up across the 25.
Well, it's going to be reviewed, but I think that was live. It looked like it bounced off a leg, stayed live, didn't touch the ground. Here's a good look at it to the right corner of your screen. Ball dropped, hit the leg. Yeah, and Dean scoops it.
Wow.
The ball has been bouncing everywhere tonight.
Has it ever? We saw some in the first half. That's crazy. Kicked up by C.J. Rivas. What an assist to Larry Dean.
This on purpose. He was going down, and the chances of it hitting his leg, bouncing up in the air long enough for Larry Dean to get there and make sure he grabs it before it touches the turf. Just remarkable what's going on with the football tonight.
C.J. Rivas. Don't know if he could do that again if he tried. Remarkable. As Harris throws it off, and a flag does come out. The intended receiver is Winicky. The coverage by Kobe Williams. And that flag is out of the Stamp secondary. And that is just an awful sight for the Stampeders.
Illegal contact. Calgary number 0. 10-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Williams penalized, but Malik Henry had a great touchdown in the third quarter, and had another receiver going down for Dave Dickinson. So, like you talked about, there's opportunity here for some young receivers of the Calgary Stampeders right now. They need them. So with the penalty, it's up now to the Saskatchewan 43. The Riders lead it by 4. Calgary had been pressing, a throw down near the end zone, and it's a deflected, an assisted interception by Larry Dean. So Calgary couldn't get any more points. And here come the Riders now. Sean Bain breaks free. There's more. Bain! Can they catch him? Finally do. Cameron Judge down there with Williams. But we got a first and goal coming up for Craig Dickinson, Saskatchewan Roughriders. A gain of 60 yards for the ex-Stampeder. Sean Bain.
Key to the success of this play, and the success of a play like this, is to get the ball in the receiver's hands early. He just shoots through the formation and then catches it on the other side, and it gives him time to turn upfield. And Bain does the rest from there. Again, some great moves in the old field. Watch the cutback. He gets up on Dozier, and then a cutback here on the inside. He's got a nice block from Sam Emelis downfield, and they're knocking on the door.
Down to the Calgary 7. Harris hands off. Morrow goes back to break it around. Gets close to the end zone. Down to the 1. And Jamal Morrow sets up a short 2nd and goal after a 6-yard carry.
Well, Kobe Williams got their defense another chance, and they played this almost as well as they could have by stringing it out. Watch how they string out Morrow here, get him pushing to the sideline, running towards the sideline, but he turns his shoulders and gets it down to the one all on his own. With that carry, he has an even 100 yards rushing. As mentioned last week against Winnipeg, Morrow only had 20 yards. Shea Patterson in. To punch it in again. His second rushing touchdown. Saskatchewan adds to their lead. And points off turnovers. The last time it was Patterson finishing it off and a Roland Milligan pick. This one started with a Larry Dean interception. Yeah, good push right over the middle. Patterson away in the USFL last year, had been with the Alouettes, along with Trevor Harris in 2021. Back in the CFL, in that short yardage role. Going for 2 to see if they can increase the lead to 12. Well, it's short and the ball comes out. Dozier picks it up, but no, they don't add the 2. The thinking being, you get that magic 11 of a touchdown and a 2-point convert plus a field goal, and they could have got outside that had they got the 2-point convert, pushed it ahead to 12. But instead, it stays still a 2-score game and a 10-point lead, the biggest lead we've seen in this one. Defense has certainly helped, but it's a touchdown Patterson. Breathe deep, chill, then go on and throw a touchdown pass. Tevin Jones, Trevor Harris, our Coors Light moment of chill, a moment of focus before the game. I like that. 4 plays, 83 yards. Try that. There you go. You work on that now. And we see Clark Barnes back for the kick return with the injury to Peyton Logan, the rookie out of Guelph. Great kick returner in his college days with Guelph. His first 2 games took the opening kickoff for touchdowns and had one a little later in his 3rd game. So he's used to being in this situation and now getting that spotlight on the Canadian football. Real good return and one that's important to give Jake Mayer a nice way to start the series and a good position to start the series on the field. That's a great cut back. He got an extra 15 on that cut. Now Jake Mayer's got a chance. This is a game with lots of time left. Just down by two possessions. It's opened up, certainly, after only 9 points were scored in the first half. Now 23-13, Calgary down. And that is caught by Odoms Dukes, excuse me. He's Trey Odoms Dukes, who's but the most experienced receiver, just about, in Calgary right now in his 2nd year at South Florida, and a gain of 9. Working tempo halfway through the 4th quarter. 2nd and 1. And Mayer stayed in, not Tommy Stevens. Yeah, plenty of time left, as you all know, watching Canadian football, that in 7 minutes you can double your score, both teams. They drove well last time. Throw into the end zone, got picked off. 3-man rush. Dumps it off. Finds a receiver 2. It's Cole Tucker. One of those rookies taking it inside the 35 at a big first down, Calgary. Well, this is important not just for tonight in this game and coming back, but it's important in the long run for this team. Get these young receivers comfortable. Gain of 18 yards for Cole Tucker in his CFL debut. And Roland Milligan is down. Good eyes up there from Jake Mayer, just climbing up in the pocket, but keeping his eyes downfield.
Milligan, who had that big interception in the third quarter, leading to the Riders' first touchdown. And getting some attention on a Calgary drive midway through the final. Join the movement today. Visit specialolympics.ca/calling-all-volunteers. Big days for Canada so far in the pool and on the track. A couple of gold medals. The Special Olympics. 1st and 10, Calgary. The Rider 32, Mayer throws. And a nice catch there by Luther Hakunavanu to extend this drive. First down, Stampeders.
When he arrived on the scene, I think they were in BC. It was either game 1 or 2 for Hakunavanu, and he had a huge touchdown right down the middle. Might be harder against BC's defense this year. The way they're playing.
Saskatchewan.
That's a great catch, so by Hakunavanu coming back. Again, this is great experience for these guys to get this where not only are they starters, but now they're starters that have to be relied on. And he comes back and squeezes that, keeps it up off the turf, protects it. That's a confidence-building catch for Hakunavanu. Coming right back to the ball. Very nice.
Who's going to step up? Well, Hakunavanu in his 3rd year at York, and he had a couple of catches before this game coming in. He has 3 now for 58 yards. Down to the Rider 19.
That was a couple of years ago he was in that BC game.
Mills inside the 5. 1st and goal, Calgary. 15-yard gain, Dedrick Mills.
That's what Britt talked about when she talked early in the game about Dedrick Mills and how he approaches the game every single snap like it's his last and has that energy and enthusiasm and speed and urgency. Saw it.
Back in his hands inside the 5. That time tangled down C.J. Rivas. But down near the goal line last time around had the remarkable kick in coverage. Kicked the ball up to Larry Dean. And that led to the Rider drive that increased their lead. And Micah Tights now.
A couple of cramps late in this game, Rod. Looks like that's what that might be as well, although they're checking out his knee. Jason Shivers going head-to-head. Now he's got to get his goal line defense in there, which go back to the first game of the regular season against Edmonton. They had the big goal line stand. Micah Johnson will be a big part of that.
A.J. Allen coming in.
And Pat Delmonico, who, you know, I called Dave Dickinson earlier on, the OC. Dave is part of the game planning, obviously, and in game will be on the headset listening in, but the guy calling the plays is either Delmonico or Larry Mueller. Excuse me, Mark Mueller. Larry's son. And so, you know, because Dave has become the GM as well. Got a lot of hats on.
But since you mentioned Mark Mueller and they are playing Saskatchewan, it's a story I'm sure people have heard many times to remind those who may not know.
Oh, yeah.
His grandpa, one of the legends in CFL history. There's Mark, grandfather Ron Lancaster.
So Mark will talk directly to Jake Mayer, and he'll be the guy who signals it in and is looking at his chart. Delmonico will be communicating with him. Dave Dickinson is also right there and ready. You see him talking and can also communicate to both. So a lot of offensive power, I guess, in those 3 minds, helping Jake Mayer.
At a critical moment right now, too, for the Stampeders, who are down 10, and they have an opportunity and a need to find the end zone again. 2nd and goal at the Saskatchewan 3. 7th play of this drive. Mills in the backfield. They fake it. Mayer keeps it. And he scores the Calgary touchdown.
Had to have it. And the offense offensive brain trust for the Calgary Stampeders come up with a play that gives Jake Maier all kinds of options. He goes with the fake. He's rolling outside, so he's got the option to run or throw. He's got 3 receivers that are trying to work back towards him. If any one of them opens up, he can get rid of the ball and throw it. And instead, he takes it, he sees the opening, and goes and scores.
Second rushing touchdown of this young season for Jake Maier. Paredes gets the point after. And it's back to a 3-point game with just under 5 minutes to go in the fourth.
Take a look at Jake Maier. Give your quarterback 4 yards from the end zone a lot of options. So he pulls the ball there because Cox comes down inside the defensive end. Gets outside. He sees that there's no contain there. Reeves is slow to the party. And then that's why he takes it and runs with it. But he had 3 receivers as options as well. So give your quarterback options and then let him make the right call when the ball is snapped.
And then let Quick Six do the rest.
And then Quick Six take a lap. Cunavano, that big catch to keep the drive alive.
He's
on
had a
second
couple
down.
in this
Yeah,
game.
absolutely.
We've asked that question. What do they do at receiver now?
So maybe he's the guy. And you know, if you're a young Canadian receiver and they've got a ton of them on the roster tonight, Cunavano, why not you? Why not you?
Why not
be the guy to step up and say, hey, you can trust me, Jake. Throw it up my way. I won't let you down. And he didn't on that last series.
And who knows how this is going to play out now with Calgary closing the lead. Saskatchewan still on top, but just by 3. They'll get the ball. Alford inside the 5. Got some room, has to cut back, and finally they do him swarm, but he does get it out to about the 43 of Saskatchewan, and a good place for Trevor Harris to start.
Yeah, remember Barnes? Barnes had the return, gives Jake Maier a good, confident place to start the drive. They finish with a touchdown. Same thing right there for Mario Alford. Give Trevor Harris close to midfield to start the drive, to try and answer the Calgary touchdown.
4:45 and counting. Good close matchup. This Western rivalry with the Riders and the Stampeders, both at 1-1. One of them will tie Winnipeg for second in the West. Complete off to the left, up to about the 47 for Jake Winnipeg. So pick up a 4 yards, give him 5, we'll call it.
This is where that chill, deep breathing comes in.
For Trevor Harris.
Yeah, you get down to 4 minutes now. 3-point game, you start deep breathing. So does Kelly Jeffrey. Play calling over there on the sideline. A lot of coordinators like to be upstairs. Jeffrey down on the field.
Moment of chill. In a tense moment now on a 2nd and 5. Harris. Oh, Samuel Emilus. With Jamerson jumping in front of the ball, Emilus hangs on to it. And a big Rider first down.
Great concentration from Sam Emilus, working against Jamerson. And Trevor Harris gives him a chance. There's an up over top. Amerson waving at it. Just missed the knockdown, and tremendous concentration. How many times have you seen a receiver distracted by that hand? Not that time.
We've seen more of his receiving game than just those touchdowns he had last week against Winnipeg.
You asked about what that would do for his confidence. Well, there's your example of what it can do. 3 touchdowns, and then the next game out, big play, get down the field into scoring range.
Can you please put 3 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock? Thank you.
And keep your concentration with a DB right in the throwing lane, hand waving around in front of your face. Probably didn't even see the ball until it hit his hands.
You could argue those 3 touchdowns last week were big, especially for his career, but that's a tougher catch he just made there now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was that one that he did.
He had another
diving one.
too.
Yeah.
Well, And we're starting to talk about him now.
Exactly.
Which
we're ranking big catches.
Yeah, something that I don't think we would have expected to do at the start of the season. Morrow, left side, and a good pickup as he gets 9 more yards for the Riders and 109 in the game for Morrow on the ground. So we got a 2nd and short coming up.
James Waters gets caught here with and just sort of underestimates the speed. He steps up and is in good position, but watch Morrow's speed get out and around him. Number 9 will step up here. He's going to stay. Look at him trying to redirect, stay in containment, and just sort of misread the speed of Morrow on the outside.
Micah Alway on the tackle for Calgary. 2nd and 1. Oh, coming in. What an effort after the contact by Morrow. Alway had him. And Morrow said, no, I'm going to push through for a first down.
Alway is a hammer. I mean, he steps up in the middle of your screen, middle linebacker, Judge behind him. Look at him just scrape to the hole. He saw the blocking scheme up front. That's scraping.
Micah
Good effort by Morrow.
It was. Hard hit. And good effort after by Morrow. This drive continues, a first down Saskatchewan. Edmonton Elks on Labor Day suits, and he had a big day.
Well, he had to earn it to get that win.
That was win number 1 ever against Calgary.
Yeah, 31 of 41 for almost 400. And, you know, just the 4 TDs. You had to earn it here.
And he'd been tired of hearing how he'd never beaten Calgary. He was 0-10-2 until that day on Labor Day 21, and they did win it. Finally for Harris, trying to hang on here and lead the Riders to victory at McNair. On the ground they go. Under 3 minutes. They've issued the warning for that. Jamal Morrow, who's had quite a day, especially running the football. 2:30 on the clock. And a gain of about 6 yards. 2nd and 4 coming up.
Yeah, 100 yards coming in 2 games. Over 100 in this game with 3 minutes to go. 2.5 minutes to go. I would say this is the Morrow game, and lots of options for Trevor Harris. He's going to play action. He can run another run play.
They didn't think they used him nearly enough against Winnipeg last week, despite their success throwing the football.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
So Saskatchewan takes the timeout on the 2nd and 4 at the Calgary 23, trying to add to that 3-point lead.
Yeah, clearly, I think when Trevor Harris looked, he just before he took the snap, he didn't like what he saw formation-wise, and almost like the play didn't match the formation.
Timer, can we please put the clock at 2:11?
You know, and right now, I mean, you don't want a mistake in plus territory when even a field goal makes a big difference.
Right. The touchdown. Well, never say never in the CFL, but a touchdown and look awfully good for the green and white right now with just over 2 minutes to go.
Who gets bragging rights early in this season between the two brothers?
Yeah, and the overall series, Craig may be down, but we're going to hang on and win this one. And both of them would feel that way. It's the last one that matters the most recent one. Here's Morrow on the 2nd and 4, breaks free. First down, Saskatchewan, and a great second effort by Jamal Morrow when it looked like the Stampeders had had him.
Yeah, they did. They had him just corralled. I mean, it looked like picture-perfect defense all the way on the right side.
Calgary.
He's got contained, a linebacker that can scrape, but the patience, working outside, breaking that tackle, which would have been a 3 or 4 yard loss, and then getting the corner and getting out. Right here, Micah Alway, one of the big hitters and tacklers in the game, just can't hang on. That's great lower body strength for Jamal Morrow,
who's really running with determination in this game. Ends up with 5 yards, gets it to the 18, up to 122 in this game, and we get a first down Saskatchewan, killing time as well. They're at the Calgary 18-yard to get Micah Alway. Opportunity missed for the great middle linebacker of the Stamps. Impressive numbers, Morrow. 2:03 in the clock. Back in his hands, too, driving for more. And still driving. He's not going down easily today as he picks up 5 more yards.
Well, we've seen some great performances from young receivers and different players. Some great defense, too, from Kobe Williams tonight. But that's been the best player on the field for both teams, Jamal Morrow. I don't think there's any question about that.
Helping sustain this drive right now. 7th play coming up. And talked about it before. Remember the year that he was having.
Brett Monson, the defensive coordinator for Calgary, I won't be surprised. He loads and tries to cancel all the gaps up front and make Trevor Harris throw it.
2nd and 5. Morrow again. They keep going to him. And he keeps delivering. He gets close to another first down inside the 10.
Well, he's close. Now let's see how close, because it's decision time for older brother. But another spectacular, it doesn't have to be a 50-yard run to be spectacular. It can be 5, but just spinning, taking hits, quick feet. Yard to go.
Cards on the table.
There you go. Exactly.
Here we go. 3rd and 1. No field goal. They either continue the drive where Calgary takes over. Patterson. And he pushes forward. Again, it looked like there was a chance for the Stampeders to halt him.
Someone from the Stamps made contact behind the line, and I don't know, Shea Patterson's second effort got him there. They're lining it up now. Always trying to do his part to influence the decision, but the ball's already been spotted.
And they're going to bring the sticks in.
Wow, that's how close it is.
A close spot. And what a big spot this is now. 1:12 on the clock. Calgary hoping and needing a turnover on downs here.
To that.
Still have to now just move the ball, tightening up the chains.
Well, the command
right.
The command center was helping with that spot.
After review by the command center, the spot was moved to the 9-yard line. Ball is short of the first down. First down, Calgary.
Who got contact? I think it was Micah Awe who got contact on Patterson first. Well, it's almost impossible to spot the forward progress of the ball there. There it is, Awe.
And Jordan Hurtman-Reed had come in over the top as well, and that's where they spot it. So Calgary's not done yet. 1:12. They take over on downs. Still a 3-point game. 3-man rush from there. They still get heat on him as he gets rid of it. Nearly ended there by Nick Marshall. He had a chance for another pick.
And that would have done it, but slipped through his fingers. A high throw from Jake Mayer.
Second down. They're 8 for 18 in second down conversions. Barely a minute to go here at McMahon. From the end zone, stepping out. Gets rid of it. Completes it too. Cole Tucker has it.
Smart for Cole Tucker to catch it, feel the pressure around him, and go down immediately. Stops the clock. Jake Mayer can get up, and they're going to be tempo, of course, or basically hurry up here in the final minute.
Gain of 18 for Tucker in his CFL debut to the Calgary 27. In tempo. Over it quickly. There. Over the middle for Tucker again. again. No, Odoms-Dukes, excuse me. Trey Odoms-Dukes with a catch and another Calgary first down.
Yeah, I thought it was incomplete for a second there because something flew to the ground. It must have been a mouthpiece or something, but that was a deep throw, confident throw by Mayer over the middle.
And that's back-to-back 18-yard passing plays up to the Calgary 45. Needing to get in field goal range for Paredes. Pressure was coming. Mayer got rid of it, and he completes it too. My goodness. And that's Tucker with it. His second catch on this drive. And it continues, and they get closer to field goal range.
Mayer pays the price for this one, but he'll take it. That's a great throw under pressure. He gets hit hard and still delivers a strike. One play away from field goal range. Need about 8-10 yards.
Robertson bearing down, and we ask that question again. An opportunity for some young receivers. Who's going to step up? Tucker with a couple of big ones.
Mayer shaking up there. See Trey Odoms-Dukes on that deep dig route. Comes in the middle, digs over, runs the dig over top. The mouthpiece comes flying. That's why I thought that was the ball for a second, but it wasn't, and he made that catch. Now a play away, but Jake Mayer's come off with it. Looked like he was favoring his shoulder.
At this point, it would take a 57-yard try by Paredes to tie the game. We got to get a bit closer. Tucker. They do get a little bit closer, a few more yards. 30 seconds on the clock as Paredes, in his 12th season, warms up on the sidelines.
This guy could take off and run too. You know that.
2nd and 7. Time winding down. Tommy Stevens in for the intake loss. And he gets it. Run out of bounds is Stevens. Picks up a yard. Paredes is coming on. With the ball at the 46. Looking about a 53-yard try coming up.
10-year veteran Micah Johnson. Tremendous hustle to get Stevens out of bounds, or he might have taken another 4, 5, maybe 10 more yards on that run around the edge. Taking a little bit of pressure off Paredes, but
as Hakunavanu takes a knee. Now this is interesting. Rene Paredes, one of the greatest in the history of the CFL, especially for accuracy, of course, not as much for distance. His career high is 53. And this is what it would take to tie this game and force overtime. He is 2 for 2 tonight, and he has the wind at his back. Should point that out as well. Balls have been sailing farther in that direction. Right to left in your screen. 53-yard try, 17 seconds on the clock. And I think the Riders just moments ago were so close to putting this one away. Cody Grace to put it down. Paredes to tie the game.
And he got it.
He does it. Matching his career high. And another clutch kick from a clutch kicker. We have a 23-23 tie with 11 seconds to go.
And the pressure that is on a kicker at that moment, it's something you can't measure. It's something it's hard to put any statistical sort of explanation to it except for accuracy under those circumstances. And he's one of the best in the business at it, and he nails it to tie this game.
He's seen a lot from his kicker over the years. And his counterpart, his big brother Craig, not yet. This game is not over yet. There's still more work to be done. Rene Paredes, the last 2 off seasons, Glenn has talked about retiring and then decided to come back. He's a firefighter now. So they work around his schedule on his other job for practice. And for someone like that, they're willing to accommodate him, of course. And there's a bit of a payoff, isn't it?
Well, and think back to the Micah Awe with a yard to go. And not kicking a field goal there, going on 3rd and 1. Saskatchewan, they stop him on defense. Jake Maier makes 4 or 5 plays, and we're tied.
Jamal Mora back to return the kick. 7 seconds on the clock. He goes down with 4 seconds to go in regulation. Looking very much, barring a big play from Trevor Harris coming up here. Looks like overtime is looming between the Riders and the Stampeders.
Well, there's a couple of questions here. First of all, what's the health situation of starting quarterback Jake Maier for Calgary? If we do go to overtime, they're going to take a knee and take it to overtime. The way the ball has been bouncing tonight, I think that's a safe decision and a good one.
The Riders, not long ago, had led by 10. Calgary came back. Paredes made sure of it from 53 yards. Off to OT we go. Games, each team will scrimmage from the opponent's 35 to try to score. After a touchdown, they have to go for 2. The team who scored the most points in the mini games earns 2 points in the standings, and each team gets 1 point if still tied. So now the coin toss for overtime.
The team logo is tails. CFL logo is heads. Your call? Tails. The call is tails. It is a tail. You want to start on defense? What end would you like to play in? Do you want to play in this, or you want? Okay, so we'll go this end.
So Calgary football to start.
It looks like Jake Maier is going to be okay. That's good news for Calgary fans. And interesting that 2 kickers are making the decision on the coin toss, and it just may be the kickers that win this one or don't. And that is the pressure that's on them, and unlike really any other player, to be honest.
And how many times have we seen, we've seen it in the Grey Cup, where one team gets points and then the next team's on and there's a turnover, an interception, and suddenly it's over. They each get 1 possession in each mini game. So here we go. First possession, Calgary. Tommy Stevens in the quarterback. Just calls his number. Advances the ball. We did see Jake Maier get injured earlier.
So I guess
Maier's coming in.
Yeah, I guess Jake Maier, well, he's coming in now. It looked like he was fine, but they start out with a quarterback draw. Called play, just fake it to that fly sweep, and then right through that hole in the B gap between guard and tackle, and then just lowers the shoulder, lowers the pad level on Milligan.
So Maier is actually off again. Stevens again. Short yardage. The first play, Maier was on the field and then ran off, and so a gain of 6 more for Stevens. So here we see Maier now. Stevens running on those 2 plays to pick up the first down.
Boy, those were aggressive quarterback runs.
Gets it down to the 20, and of course in overtime you don't have to worry about a clock. It's the matter of what they get at this stage. At least 3 thinking, trying to get into the end zone, or as mentioned, they'd have to go for 2 from the 20. On the ground again, Mills. Riders bottling him up after a gain of 4 more yards, and a passing down likely coming up here for Calgary.
Yeah, we'll see how that injury or how banged up Jake Maier is. He's gutting it out. Not showing any signs of it. But we'll see now, because this is a throwing down. Although, with the way that Mills has played, you could swing it out to him. Doesn't have to be a deep throw, and let him do the heavy lifting.
Chipping their way down after starting at the 35. They're at the Saskatchewan 16. First possession of overtime. Maier to throw. And it's a little low, intended for Odom's Dukes. A little short, falls incomplete, and a 3rd down is coming up.
And that's why if you win the toss in overtime, you go second. In other words, you go offense second. Because now the Riders know, you see that one just short to Odom's Dukes.
And Paredes is out, but Dave Dickinson is challenging for roughing the passer.
Well, you don't want to finish this game and have the challenge flag in your pocket. So
Calgary is challenging for roughing the passer.
Ball out.
Well, a little tap there by Lanier, and Nair's calling for it. He did make contact. But
yeah, I think that was just well, I'll let them decide. But at the end of the day, like I said, you don't want to be at the end of this game with the challenge flag not used. Chance to get a new set of downs. Mayer signaled, so his coach thought, okay, maybe there was something I didn't see. But I just, there's no way that could be roughing the passer.
Hard to imagine they would call that.
No.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Announced by the referee Tom Valesi.
I would love to just one time see a ref come out and go, good try.
He had the challenge. Dave Dickinson had the challenge flag, and he used it. So Rene Paredes, who made this overtime possible thanks to a 53-yarder, has a lot less than that to give Calgary the lead by 3 in OT, and he does. 26-23, but now Saskatchewan will scrimmage 35 yards away from Calgary's end zone.
Now, if they tie this up with a field goal, we go to the other end and do it again. But if Calgary scores on defense or interception, or game over. Now, that's it.
These things can end very quickly. The quickest on one single play here now, either a touchdown or a turnover. Trevor Harris is close to getting it in regulation, looking for his second win ever against the Stampeders. We mentioned the last time he was with Edmonton on Labor Day Monday, 2021.
Well, this game has been all about Jamal Morrow. A couple of plays by Sean Bain coming out of the backfield as well, and those little fly sweep swing passes. He's over here.
Riders down a field goal. First possession overtime. Play fake. Oh, it's in the crowd, man. Look at that crowd. And Emilus couldn't hang on to that down at the 20. And he's slow to get out. And so is Brandon Dozier.
Yeah, that's just... Everybody's got to regroup after that one. That was a three-way just... Oh. Dozier coming downhill. Leads with his shoulder, turns. That's all that was clean, but just so Dozier and Emilus definitely have to come off the field. Spotters, medical spotters would not let them continue, although the training staffs would do that too. But anyone else out there is looking a little off, they'll be pulled as well. One more time on the hit.
Fierce collision. Dozier was off in his own. Emilus
okay.
does.
They look okay.
They look okay now, but sitting this play out. And big 2nd and 10.
3 plays because training staffs came out, so they're out for 3.
So out for 3. Second and 10. Stamps rush 3. Handing it off. Now it's Bain. Cuts it back. And he gets down to the 35 only. So looks like Lawther will be coming out. to end this first mini game, hoping to tie it up again.
Yeah, it's been one of those games, right, where it's either Morrow between the tackles or it's Bain trying to get him outside and around. It's been that little swing pass to him or else that, a fly sweep coming all the way from right to left. Gets Lowther a little closer.
This will be further than what Paredes had, but a 38-yarder to be put down by Corsack to tie it up and force a second mini game. Perfect. Game 2. It keeps going. Lowther's good. We're tied at 26. And the Riders will start the second mini game with their offense still on the field. They'll go first.
And now advantage Dave Dickinson, because now he can wait, see what the Riders can, or what his defense can hold the Riders to.
And they switch ends. They'll go to the other 35 now for both teams.
A good rule for the fans. So you play one of the overtime games at one side and the other at the other side.
It's funny for Trevor Harris. In 2 of the games that he had started against Calgary, you notice he had 10 losses, the 1 win on Labor Day, and 2 ties against the Stampeders. Harris has been through this before, going to overtimes that could not be resolved. One amazing game back in 2017 against when he was with Ottawa against the Stamps. That one ended tied at TD Place. Trevor Harris. Quickly. Jones inside the 25 and more. Down to the 15. Tevin Jones. Gain of 21 yards.
Yeah, this looks like all game plans from the OCs of just of overtime type plays. We never saw that from Tevin Jones all game long. A couple from Sean Bain, but sort of faked like he was going to line up as a tight end and then just shot outside.
What a game. What a finish. Overtime. Second mini game. Second possession Saskatchewan. At the Calgary 14 and a first down. Morrow. What a game he's had. Keeps driving. Taken down after a few yards. It'll be a second and long coming up.
Yeah, you got to keep with what's been working, even though you're here, because the manageable second down still very important, because Trevor Harris can get a first down without scoring at this point. So Kelly Jeffrey sticks right with the game plan, gets a couple on first down.
Just a gain of 2, Morrow, second and 8. Brown picking up. 3 receivers to the right, looking to the left to the end zone. No. Bain wants a flag. Moxie in the coverage. No flag. Third down and a field goal situation for the Riders.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned the fans and the switching of ends in overtime, and this was Bain on an out route on Moxie, who closes very well and gets his hand there to knock it away, and Bain had to look right back into the sun going this direction. And we saw Dave Dickinson.
Saskatchewan is challenging that there's defensive pass interference. We'll review the play.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. You saw Dave throw his in a very questionable play, just because you might as well. You don't want to leave the game with the challenge in your pocket. So let's take a look again here. There's the out route. And does Moxie grab or pull him or impede him to the football? That's what we got to look for here on this play. So he's got his hand on his waist. You can guide him or you can touch the receiver, but you can't twist him or pull him back or impede him to his route or to the ball. That's one look, though.
Big challenge. If he wins it, it would go down to the 1. If not, they would very likely be trying to kick a field goal and lead by 3 coming down to the final possession for Calgary.
I mean, that was a real close look in isolation. So we'll see if this maybe shows anything from behind. Down at the bottom of your screen, I don't really see a grab jersey or anything like that. Again, you know, I think the coaches challenging these are just saying, hey, we might as well try it, but I don't see any PI there.
They still discuss it, and we're awaiting word.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
So for each of the Dickinson brothers, they tried it, but they don't get it.
Yeah, so Craig could have got the good try.
You think Craig's try might have been a little bit more?
I think
like,
they were both about the same.
Yeah, okay. We'll call that a tie. This game's a tie so far. Riders looking to move in front again, and they do. Another field goal by Lawther. And so Saskatchewan, having the first possession of the second mini game, ends up with a field goal. And now it'll come down to the Stampeders from the 35 and see if they can get to the end zone to win it, settle for a field goal to tie it, or can the Riders hang on? Jake Mayer is out again. Last pass, a little short. He took a hit late in regulation. Saw more of Tommy Stevens, who ran the first two plays of the first mini game.
And keep in mind, you're in field goal range without running a play for Rene Paredes. And now it's up to Calgary to try and score that major and win this game. Now, what's the health of Jake Mayer?
Mills, he busted loose. Diedrich Mills with a good run for the Stamps, getting it close to the Rider 20. First down, Calgary.
He looks fresh. I mean, we're in the second overtime, and those legs don't look like they are at all running in quicksand like you feel this deep in a game. Pretty much every player, not Diedrich Mills. 14-yard gain, and he was picking them up and putting them down.
Some words for Deontay Williams after two, but these are two teams 1-1 in the West, with Winnipeg at 2-1 and BC at 3-0. From the 21, Mills again, and he keeps those legs chugging.
And one of the things that the Riders are doing defensively on those last two runs were trying to pull and rip the ball out, trying to create a fumble, because that would end it. And Jason Shivers could, you know, obviously he'd love to see that. However, when you don't form tackle and you try to just rip the ball without securing a tackle, that's how good running backs can break a big play.
So what do you do if you get 6 yards? I'll ask you in a minute if it happens. Decision time. Right now, looking for another first down to the end zone to win it. 2nd and 7 from the Rider 18. Mayer. They got some heat on, but he escapes. He looks into the end zone. Intercepted. The game is over. Saskatchewan wins it after all. Denied their chance to even tie it. Nick Marshall, who missed a couple of chances in this game for an interception, picks that one off. And the Riders, who saw their 10-point lead evaporate in the fourth, get on stage to celebrate.